All right, Den, we are going to go to last call. These are things I tweeted and have clearly forgotten about. So, Den, take me through it. What do we got on this one today? Okay. This dude, what's his name? Pastor Gene Kim. He does these sermons, and I subscribe because he's insane. And I like watching his sermons specifically because, and I'm not going to do it here, but I'm asking all of you to do it. When he draws these diagrams, and if you zoom in on them, they're always crazy. Always. 100% of the time, they include weird stuff because it's not like a timeline of biblical history or something. If you zoom in on this picture, there's a UFO in there. And I don't know where in the Bible that appears, but it is in his sermon. I don't know why. I'm not watching the rest of the sermon to find out why, but it is there. And I don't know. That's kind of why I subscribe to him. What crazy thing is he going to draw next? And why do people still listen to this guy? One thing I will say, I've never seen the camera pan out to his audience. I'm always curious how many people he's actually talking to, because the answer could be anywhere from like 1 to 100. Could be 0 for all I care. I don't hear the audience commentary, but I have to wonder if he's doing all this for an audience of nobody. Oh my God. Okay, read the bottom post. Trump apparently said he's nominating Emile Beauvais, one of his personal lawyers, to serve as a judge on an appellate court. Other than a Supreme Court nomination, those appellate court nominations are a big freaking deal. This is basically how a lot of law gets resolved in our country. And Trump is nominating one of his dudes to this seat. I don't care what his resume is. This is some right-wing hack that Trump wants to nominate. But as Elie Mystal points out, the reason this seat is open so that Trump can fill it is because Democrats in the Senate had the opportunity to confirm a Muslim judge in that same seat. But a couple of Democrats said, I don't feel comfortable supporting this guy because they thought he associated with terrorists, which he didn't at all. And the record showed that. But a couple of Democratic idiotic senators are like, I don't feel comfortable confirming this awesome Democratic judge. So they didn't confirm him. And now that seat is open. And now Trump and the Republicans in the Senate are going to replace him with this right-wing hack who's just going to do whatever you expect right-wing justices to do. Just utterly irresponsible by the Democrats in the Senate. And Chuck Schumer and Dick Durbin, who leads the judiciary side of the Democrats, they are so bad at this. It is infuriating. Okay, Riley Gaines, she is the 5th place swimmer at a track meet who made her entire life about how she got 5th place at a swim meet. And the truth is she actually tied for 5th with a transgender swimmer, but she blamed her 5th place loss on the trans swimmer, even though if you remove the trans swimmer from the competition, she still would have gotten 5th. Anyway, her entire personality is, I was robbed from one swim meet in college this one time. And so Fox is like, great, you're one of ours now. Anyway, she was commenting, you can't even make this up. Instead of honoring entrepreneurs or veterans or innovators, they picked Kermit the Frog because Kermit the Frog gave the commencement address at the school. You could play the video for a second.
Not bad, Riley. What do you think?
Imagine being a 22-year-old student who is graduating with your degree in aerospace engineering, and a frog from the Muppets is on stage telling you to stay connected with your people. I mean, you can't even make this up. Instead of honoring entrepreneurs or veterans or innovators, they picked Kermit the Frog. We have students who are drowning in debt, who are struggling to find jobs, and universities are handing the mic to puppets. Not puppets like many Democratic elected leaders, like a real puppet. It's all theater, literally. So I see this as the same institutions who have been pushing political agendas and cancel culture now want to use a puppet to inspire students. It's unserious, it's out of touch, and frankly, it's insulting.
No one knows out of touch and insulting and puppetry like people on Fox. Here's the thing. Why was Kermit speaking at the University of Maryland? Because that is Jim Henson's alma mater. That school has like a lot of stuff dedicated to Jim Henson. That's why you would have a creation of Jim Henson giving the speech. And by the way, I watched the Kermit commencement earlier this week. And everyone at the school is like, ha ha ha, I see what you're doing here with this puppet thing. But it was actually a really good message she was sending to the students. And if that message came from some actor or entrepreneur, it would have been fine too. But like, it's not like they randomly picked Kermit the Frog to speak to students. They picked Jim Henson's creation, who is one of their most famous alums ever, to deliver the speech. And it was a really good message. So she doesn't know that because she didn't do any research on this, but she knows the talking points she is hired to spew. So that's Riley Gaines for you. She's like Tommy Lahren, doesn't offer anything substantive when talking about these things, but she knows she has a role to play now, and it's being the 5th place person on the Fox News panels. And then she was back. What else did she say this time? Go ahead and you could play this. Go ahead and play the clip and then we'll talk.
Sports, not only is it unfair to have an unfair advantage physically, but also it's a safety issue as well. When you have seen, Riley Gaines talk about how hard she trained and competed and then was beaten, in her race. But she would have clearly won if she'd just been competing against women. So it was...
Again, Riley Gaines, in the race she was famous for, took 5th place. Who beat her? 4 other women. She tied with the trans swimmer. So no, she did not take 2nd and a trans person beat her, and now she has a lifelong resentment of trans people. So Linda McMahon, the Secretary of Education, doesn't know what she's talking about. Riley Gaines doesn't know what she's talking about. All these people are just lying. It is so infuriating to watch because none of them bother to do any due diligence at any of this. I know, I'm very good at math. That's what my major was in. Turns out if the trans swimmer was not allowed to swim, Riley Gaines would have still lost to 4 better swimmers. Jesus. How is she like the new famous person on Fox? I don't get it. This is interesting. This is a quote. This is George Conway tweeting, but he's quoting a researcher who said, I just looked through some of our amazing grants that Republicans have now cut. And one of them looked into how in the inner ear neurotransmitters help us hear. And it is possible that the reason that got flagged early on is the word neurotransmitter because it has the word trans in it. And I don't know how sarcastic that researcher was being, but it is possible when Elon Musk and Big Balls or whatever his Doge Bros names were, when all those people were figuring out which research grants the federal government would no longer support, they just did a control find for like trans and then said anything on this list is off. And they didn't bother actually looking at what was being studied. And this is the way Republicans do science. It's, it has the word trans in it, get rid of it. And they don't care. Even if it said neurotransmitters are helping us study cancer or whatever, they would rather cut cancer research because they don't know what is actually happening. I think that's the frustrating thing about this administration. You have idiots making cuts against what experts are telling them because they don't believe in experts, and they're letting the dumbest people in the country make consequential decisions that are going to hurt our country for generations to come. Like they are ending longitudinal studies, I should say, that have been going on for decades that help us understand how the body works because they found like something in it that they could blame on DEI. Like just awful, awful people here. I haven't watched Real Time with Bill Maher in a really long time. And part of it is because he just became way too anti-woke for my taste. Like, I know he's not Republican per se, but he knows all the talking points. And he has a weird bachelor pad podcast he does where he just like smokes cigars and drinks and talks to random people. But this is his recent guest. It's a conspiracy theorist, Tim Pool. That's who Bill Maher, who could interview pretty much anyone he wants. He's like, you know what? I think my audience should hear from you. If this is who you are picking to interview, not because Bill Maher was going to challenge him, but because he thinks Tim Pool has something intelligent to say. By the way, this is my same complaint about Gavin Newsom talking to like Charlie Kirk or Ben Shapiro or whoever. It's like, you could talk to anybody. Why are these the voices you think anyone should be listening to? And that reflects on your judgment. So I don't know, maybe it's just something in California's water or something. You know what? Let's skip this, Den, because I'm going to cover this next week. And this is interesting. So Charlie Kirk did a thing where he debated students or answered their questions at Cambridge. And he said, at Cambridge, instead of focusing on their own decaying country, they are obsessed with Israel. The lack of moral clarity on this topic is chilling. I decided to put this bouncy Brit in his place. And someone points out, why didn't you play the actual full clip? And you could play it here, where the student continues to talk and destroys you.
So can you tell me what African country is currently ongoing a civil war?
Believe it or not, I know about Sudan because I'm not an idiot.
How about what Southeast Asian country has an ethnic cleansing going on right now?
Myanmar.
Good. And you have strong opinions on both sides?
Unlike you, I take an effort to be informed about foreign policy and to come to conclusions. You are a culture warrior. I believe when everything is done, Mr. Kirk, people will see you and the people you've supported as corrupt, as selling the country out to the lowest bidder, and of doing irreparable damage to a country I'm sure we all deep down love.
The difference,
I think you will have to reckon with that.
Difference
one, Mr. Kirk.
Is when.
That was not included in the clip Charlie Kirk played in his original video. So, yeah, very interesting. Selective editing right there. Yes. Good job, Ron Weasley, right? And this is wild. Just go ahead and play. This is Christian nationalist Pastor Joel Webbin, who says if everyone gets to vote, people like him should get more votes because he's just more important.
My voice is more important. Yep. So I'm fine with everybody having a vote, but I should get 20. I should get 20, and then there's other people, and I'm not just talking about myself, there's other people who should get 100 and other people who should get 500 votes. Or what you could do is you could just say, no, we're actually just going to take votes from one sector of the population. And it's going to be heads of household who are married and committed to having children, furthering the next generation, and they're heritage Americans, so not just American citizens, but they've actually been here for generations back. So they have a stake in the past, they have children, they're married with children, so they have a stake in the future. So they stake in the past, stake in the future, they're working, they're land owning, they're head of household. Yes, I'm speaking of men. And those individuals will have a vote. And it doesn't mean that nobody else has a voice, but everybody else will have a voice underneath their federal headship.
Like, these are the same people who, 100 years ago would have been like, well, certain people shouldn't be allowed to vote at all, or they need to pass a literacy test, or they need to pass these hurdles that don't apply to the rest of us because we're special. I mean, there is no difference between that and him saying like, well, everyone can vote, but people like me should get way more votes because my voice matters more. And he says that this is not a trick for him. This is Christian nationalism. This is what like those right-wing theologian types, this is what they actively push. I know people are joking like he's saying the quiet part out loud. He was never quiet about this. This is totally what he pushes publicly over and over. And what's scary is this is not a fringe position by some random kook. This is the sort of thing that a lot of young men, a lot of Christian, conservative Christians, these are the sort of people they are listening to. And they firmly believe that even if his specifics are insane, he has the right idea that certain people should not be allowed to vote. And who are those people? Well, it's anyone who doesn't act and think and live the way they do. I mean, it's racism, it's bigotry, it's just a different flavor of it. Yes, I really do think this is not an act for any of these people. Just like I don't think Donald Trump and the Republicans around him, I don't think they're all actors. I think they are actually dyed-in-the-wool believers, and they really are just that stupid. Like, I don't think Marjorie Taylor Greene or Nancy Mace are putting on an act. I think they're really just that dumb. Fox News people, like, I don't think Riley Gaines is putting on a show. I think she's just that dumb. She also knows what she needs to say, but it's not like she knows better. These people do not know better. This is what they believe, and they always have biblical justification for it. And this is the thing. I don't know all the details about this yet, but I want you to go Google this. And Drew, a genetically modified skeptic, is a part of this as well. But American humanists fight authoritarianism. And I don't know if it's a live stream or what, but if you are interested, this is going on next Thursday night at 7 p.m., probably when we're doing this show as well. But Google that right now. And if you're interested, I won't be offended if you're doing that next week. But check it out. And it sounds like a really good event and a good cause. And Den says he's going to be there as well. Just before this show. Oh, yeah. I forgot the time. I don't know what the... I'm looking at 7 o'clock. I always start 7 o'clock my time. I don't know what that is over there. But anyway, go check it out.